Here in the deep below. Welcome back to the virtual Y. Chance here with a power flow yoga, a half hour of some core, of some movement, of some breath, of maybe a little sweat even, perhaps. If you're joining on Facebook or YouTube, make sure to check out the virtual Y. You have access to tons of different types of classes, bar, Pilates, HIIT workouts, core exercise, dance classes, all types of stuff streamed live for you every day and access to a large library of videos. So make sure to explore those options if you like what you find here. And what you'll need for this practice is a yoga mat and some space to move. And perhaps if your body requires extra support, you might want a yoga block or a folded blanket for a little extra padding. But we'll be moving today. Make sure that you feel comfortable. Don't do anything that hurts. Don't overdo it. This practice is really about paying close attention to the details, and you're going to get plenty of work from those details, and you don't need to do too much. So trust your body. We're going to start comfortably seated. Sit up tall, relax the shoulders. Start to notice the symmetry of the body. When you're rooting down through the seat, does it feel like there's more weight in one side of the seat than the other? Can you gently rock a little bit so you feel even from side to side? Same goes for front to back. Maybe you feel like you're leaning back a little bit. Maybe you feel like you're leaning forward. And all of this should already start bringing awareness to the core, where you feel this, hips, where your hips and pelvis and low back meet as you're sitting down, but reaching up tall, sitting tall. You're going to be using a lot of different muscles that kind of oppose each other. So it should feel like a little work to sit up tall. Relax the shoulders, reach up tall through the crown of the head. Make sure there's space across the front of the chest, and try to feel equally distributed in weight from left to right and front to back. Now, let's start to notice the breath. The first type of breath I'll offer is a diaphragmatic breath, an ocean-sounding breath that involves the diaphragm and expands the belly. So when you breathe in, you want your belly to expand like a balloon. When you breathe out, let that balloon deflate evenly and equally and steadily. One more big belly breath. Feeling where does it stretch, the abdominals, the low ribs, even up into the chest. When you breathe out, deflate slowly, steadily, smoothly. Now the other type of breath I'm going to offer, which is quite a bit more engaged, and I'll probably remind you to do each kind of these breaths and the different movements just to feel how different they feel. All right, so this breath is called a lateral breath. Lateral means to the sides. It means you're expanding out to the sides. So what we're actually going to do is gather in and pull in, tighten our core. We do this by using the yoga bandhas, the locks. The first is the pelvic floor. We lift up and in from the bottom. We squeeze the bottom up and in like a Kegel lift to support the low back. And then we pull the belly button in and up like we're trying to suck our whole belly in and up underneath our ribs. Squeezing everything in toward the spine and really having a tight, vacuum-sealed core in here. Now when we breathe, instead of the belly expanding, because the belly's locked in, now the low ribs expand laterally. So we expand the low ribs out to the sides and the upper ribs out to the front and back. When we breathe out smoothly, slow, and steadily, just notice where this work shows up to keep that core locked in, to keep that breath coming and going, and to keep that breath expansive. Now these two types of breath are going to make the poses and the movements feel different and really work different muscle groups. So trust what feels right in your body and know that a little bit of discomfort is good in this practice. It means we're growing, strengthening, stretching. But too much discomfort or pain is going to be counterproductive to your practice. You don't want to overdo it. You don't want to hurt yourself. You don't want to strain anything. You should feel relaxed during this practice, even when you're working. Even though it's a power flow, even though you might be sweating, the key is to stay relaxed and aware of these details. So now that we got the core and the breath situated, we're gonna slowly lower down onto our back, but first start seated. Plant the soles of the feet onto the ground about as wide apart as the hips. You can hold on to the backs of the legs, and we're gonna just tuck the chin and try to slowly lower down one vertebrae at a time without holding too hard onto the legs, really trying to tighten that core and lower all the way down smoothly as you can. Now that we got onto our back here, we're going to start to fire up this core by putting in some work. Now I'm going to give you plenty of options. We're going to start with the least intense option first, and that might be intense enough for you. And even if that's too intense, remember, all you have to do is be aware of these types of breaths that we're taking, and that's enough practice. So if you want to, skip the movement or let your body chill, you can keep breathing and still get the benefits of the practice. All right, so first thing we're going to do is situate our bowl or our powerhouse, our core, by having the low back flat on the ground as best you can. And bring your right thumb to your bottom right rib and your right pinky to the point of your hip. Do the same with your left hand, the left thumb on the left lowest rib, the right pinky on the right hip. Now imagine those points right there as the rim of a bowl. And when you pull in on your belly button to draw in on that lock and create this locked in core, imagine this bowl like it goes down in towards your belly button, but the rim of the bowl is where your ribs and hip points are. You want those to be level and equal. Now, keeping this bowl nice and situated on the ground throughout the movements is the goal here. So, keeping the core locked, pulling in on the belly button, we're going to inhale and lift our right leg so that we come up to a tabletop or a reverse tabletop here with the knees right above the hips and the shin parallel to the ground. That core is still the same. My hip bones didn't move. My ribs are right in the same place, and on that exhale, we'll lower down. Inhale, we'll lift that left leg. The core stays in the same place. The left knee comes up from the left hip. The shins parallel to the ground. And on the exhale, we'll lower down. We're just going to keep on alternating like this. Keep that core situated. Keep the belly button pulled in. Let the breath expand the ribs. And on the exhales, lower down. And as you alternate, just start to see where this work shows up. Let the ground keep lengthening your spine. Now, options if you want more intensity. Of course, you can always stay with this movement, or you can even stop this movement and just focus on the breath. But if you want more intensity, option to straighten the leg out and kind of hold it at an angle rather than straight up, maybe more at 100 degrees, 120 degrees. The deeper the angle or the more obtuse the angle, the more work it's going to be. And we're just going to alternate lifting on the inhales, lowering on the exhales. That core is nice and stable. You might notice pressure showing up in your shoulder blades, your ribs, anywhere along the spine. Another option here is doing both feet at the same time, whether the knees are coming to tabletop or if the legs are straightening out. Keep that core at the center of your attention. Keep adjusting the length of your spine, your shoulders, whatever it takes, whatever's revealed. Just a few more here. And when you lower down, let's rock the knees a little from side to side. See what kind of activity you have in your low back, what kind of awareness. What's there? Good. Next, we're going to bring our hands straight up into the air. First option, with the palms facing each other. Relax the shoulder blades and find some space across the front of the chest so your shoulder blades are pressed to the ground. Lengthen the spine. Keep that core in one, unit. So this bowl is still here, steady. The other option is to bring your hands behind your head. But we're not going to pull or crank on our head. We're going to really move from the core, and the hands are just there as support, not a point of like pulling or work. So in this movement, we're just going to tuck the chin, lifting one vertebrae up off the ground at a time until your shoulder blades come off, or maybe they don't even make it all the way off before you lower down on your inhale. Exhale, we curl around through the spine. Keep that bowl nice and situated. The core is not really moving, just the upper spine by tucking that chin, rounding. And on your inhales, lowering down one vertebrae at a time. These little micro sit-ups. Now maybe this is enough work for you. Maybe it's already too much, so you can always take a break between each one. Just focus on that core being tight. Focus on the breath. And if you want more intensity, option to float both knees to tabletop as you rise. Even an option to straighten those legs to that angle. Keep the core in tight. Keep that structural integrity of that bowl, imagining it not spilling in any direction. Steady as the movements all originate from the core. You can take a break at any time, either lowering the legs, just lengthening the spine, taking some breaths, or you can keep moving. Also offering the twist here, the crisscross, so you can bring your right elbow towards your left knee, keeping that left knee vertical. And inhale, lowering back to center. Only to exhale, lift that left elbow toward the right knee. Keep the core locked. Just a few more movements here, or be done whenever you're ready. Take a moment to unpack. Rock the knees from side to side. Feel that work. Good. We'll hug the knees into the chest. Squeeze yourself in tight. Take a couple deep breaths to lengthen the spine. And then we're going to rock. Keep your core tight so your legs aren't moving a lot. You're going to rock, keeping the chin tucked, your head's not hitting the ground. Just to the shoulder blades and back up. Keep that core in tight. And when you return to seated, we'll come to a tabletop position. In a tabletop, let's traction those hands and feet into the ground. Press the tops of the feet in, traction the knees. Squeeze everything towards each other, externally rotating those shoulders. Grip the ground, feel your shoulders, your spine, everything really firmly gripping the ground. Pull in on that core. Inhale to a cow pose. Let the belly lower. A big diaphragmatic breath, expanding the belly. And on the exhale, draw those bandhas in, rounding through the spine. Tuck the chin, hollow out the chest. Inhales, lengthening the spine. Maybe try pulling in on the bandhas here, pulling in on that belly button to feel how different it feels. You don't want to arch the low back too much as arching the upper back in cow pose. And on cat pose, rounding, hollowing out the chest, stretching that back line of the body. Take a couple more breaths at your own pace. Feel into your body. Trust your body. And when and if you're ready, we can press back to a downward facing dog. Squeeze the hands into the mat. Externally rotate the shoulders. If this is really intense on your wrists, maybe you choose to take this from your forearms. A dolphin pose. But we press the top of our head toward the ground, whether you're in down dog or in dolphin. Externally rotate those shoulders, meaning like you're rolling the points of your elbows down and out to point toward the ground. Pull in on those bandhas. Take a deep breath. Option here to pull forward to a high plank, whether you're on your hands or on your forearms. Exhale, downward facing dog. Kind of find a wave through your body. Keep those locks engaged. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, down dog. Good. Option to take a break here if you need to. You can come back down to tabletop, sway out your hips. Always listen to your body. You'll be able to catch up if you take a little break, listening in close to what you need. But we'll press back to a down dog again, and on your inhale, we'll raise the right leg high. Lock in that core, and on your exhale, bring the right knee toward the left elbow, so we're twisting across the body. Inhale, raise that right leg high. And exhale, bring that right knee toward the right elbow this time, kind of lunging. Inhale, raise that right leg high. Exhale, step that right foot to a low lunge. Inhale, crescent lunge. Deep bend in the front knee. Or, if you want less intensity, bring that knee in. But the deeper the bend, the more intense it's going to be. But you always want your right knee right above your right ankle in this pose. Drive back through that left heel. The left heel's lifted. The left knee is straight. Pull forward and up on that left hip. Your hands can be on your hips or overhead. Take a big breath in. Exhale, airplane arms. Lean the chest forward to match the angle of that back leg. This right knee is still right above the right ankle. You're pulling forward on that left hip. On your next inhale, open to a warrior two. The deeper the lunge, the more intense the pose is going to be. So you can always bring that foot in for less intensity. But we want our right heel to line up with the left foot. Traction the feet towards each other. Open the arms wide. Relax the shoulders. Find as much space across the front of the heart as you can. Pull in on that core. Imagine like you're pointing that bowl to the left now. And the more you traction those feet towards each other, feel where you can lengthen your spine by shifting those hip points ever so slightly. On your inhale, we'll take a reverse warrior, right hand high, shoulders relaxed, feet traction. Look up toward the upper hand. And exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Keep weight in that left foot. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Pull in on those bandhas. Pull in on the core. Inhale, reverse warrior. And exhale, little chaturanga, a high to low plank, or just lower down to your belly. On an inhale, you can lift the chest for a up dog, firming the thighs, pulling in on the belly button, or from a low cobra, lifting the chest, pulling in on those bandhas as well. We'll push back to a down dog. Inhale that left leg high. And exhale, bring that left knee toward the right elbow, twisting across the body. Inhale, raise that left leg high. Exhale, bring the left knee toward the left elbow. Keep the core tight, shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, raise the left leg high. Exhale, step, low lunge. Inhale, crescent lunge. Left knee now is right above the left ankle. The right knee is actively straight. Right heel's lifted, and we're pulling up and forward on that right hip. Long, low back, no arching in the low back. Option to reach the arms overhead. Relax the shoulders, open the heart, pull in on the bandhas. And exhale, airplane arms. Squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other, tuck the chin. Lengthen the spine, lean that torso at an angle that matches the right leg. And on your inhale, open warrior two. You can always adjust your feet closer together for less intensity, but always keep that left knee right above the left ankle. Arms wide, traction the feet towards each other. Think of your spine, think of your core. Try to let everything fall into place. Find an opening across the front of the chest. And on your inhale, reverse warrior. Reach the left hand high, point your chin up toward the left hand, draw down on the shoulders. Shoulders right above the hips. So we're not leaning super far back, we're right vertically reaching up. On your exhale, extended side angle. Reach that right hand at an angle. Invite weight into your right side body. Pull in on those bandhas. Take any weight out of that left arm so you're not propped up as much on your elbow. And on your inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Feel this range of motion. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Look up toward that upper hand. Inhale, reverse warrior. Last one, exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, chaturanga, high to low plank. To an upward facing dog or a low cobra. Keep the core pulled in, don't overarch your low back. And exhale to a down dog. You can pedal out the legs here. Inhale, pull forward to a high plank. Exhale, lower down onto your belly. Couple options here as we work this low back a little bit. You can have your hands stacked, your forehead on top of your hands. You can come to kind of a Sphinx pose with your elbows stacked right beneath your shoulders and your hands right in front of your elbows. Or you can Superman, reaching your arms out in front and bring your forehead to the ground. With the first movement here, first option is to bend both knees. And keeping that core firmly pressed onto the ground like that bowl is upside down now. The core is pressed firmly to the ground. And on the exhales, we're going to lift the right knee, right thigh up off the ground. And inhale, we're going to lower it back down. Exhale, lift that left thigh, left knee off the ground, keeping that core still pressed. And inhale, lower down. So we're going to alternate like this. Right side, left side. Keep that core pulled in, keep the pelvic floor engaged. And that's your first option. For more intensity, maybe you want to straighten the legs. Lift that right leg while keeping the core pressed to the ground. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, lift. Another option is doing both legs at the same time. Lifting both legs on the exhale and lowering them. On the inhale, notice how your spine, how your core is showing up here. Another option is to keep the thighs lifted and just lift one leg a little higher. Alternate without setting the thighs all the way back down. Another option is to lift the chest, lift the arms, so you're supermaning, and the motion can be lowering the opposites. So the right hand, left leg lowers, inhale, straighten back out, exhale, left hand, right leg lowers, exhale, straighten back out. Inhale, straighten out. Exhale, lower. So it's like you're swimming. Take a break if you need. Take whatever version. And when you're ready, we're going to roll down onto our back. Hug the knees into the chest. See what's there. Maybe you rock a little from side to side. Maybe you tuck into a ball, tucking your chin, not rocking all the way to your head, but just onto your shoulder blades. Keep the core tight. Feel what's showing up in your body. When you're ready, we'll hug the knees in tight and lower down to final Shavasana. Deep breaths. Just notice where your body's feeling it. Notice where you can relax, soften. What did this practice reveal about where there's weak points or challenging points? Stiff points or unfamiliar points in your body. And don't leave this practice on the mat, but instead bring what you've found into your day with you. Can you be more mindful of your spine, your core, your breath, your distribution of weight, and how you carry the weight of the world from day to day? Instead of it just being automatic and unconscious, can we bring more awareness to what we do with our body each day, no matter what tasks lie in store? And give yourself a big hug. Hug the knees in. Rock back to seated or find your way back to seated, however feels good for you. The light in me appreciates the light in you. Namaste. If you're tuning in on Facebook, make sure to check out the virtual Y for all of our offerings and share this video with a friend. Take care.